going to look at another presenter, and she's already spoken, but we have Regina LaJander Jefferson, How I Made It and Maintained. She, along with her newlywed husband, Ed Marty Jefferson, will present. And this is the D9 couple, one of the D9 couples of D9 community. We have a lot of them. And I love this couple, like I love the Austins as well, and several others. But introducing Regina LaJander Jefferson and Ed Marty Jefferson from High Five Graphics. You now have the floor. Oh, that's what
Good
she was doing all
afternoon,
this
you
time.
guys. So
Hi, everyone.
She was getting all pretty all this time. That's what she was doing.
I was trying to
Huh?
curl this hair in this heat.
Okay.
So
Now, look at that shirt. We out. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me stop talking. You all go ahead.
so first I'd like to say I know I've already been talking because that's what I do. I just talk and talk and talk and talk. But my name is Regina LaJander, and this is my husband, Edward Jefferson. And we started High Five Graphics. Now it's been 10 years. How we got started is I have been designing things, you guys. The way my mind works, I can look at a pencil and create something from that pencil. And as a cheerleader at a very young age and on different dance teams, I always wanted us to wear certain things and look a certain way, and everybody looked the same, all of that. So I have grown through the ranks of creating uniforms and suggesting ideas for uniforms. So I ended up meeting Mr. Jefferson, and I create stuff for my chapter. You know, we show up at different things uniformed, and and I'm just excited. Never charged a penny for it because I honestly just like seeing people and stuff that I created. As long as you know it came from me and you're not recreating it for yourself, I don't care. It just excites me. When I met him, he said he saw how passionate I was about designing stuff, and he said, "Why don't you do this as a business?" And although I had thought about it, I never really had the business intuition to figure out how to go about it. And I didn't have the money. It just seemed like, who's going to have the money to buy leather jackets? Because I didn't want the vegan leather. I wanted real leather. Like, you know how you have a huge expectation on a streaming budget.
Yeah.
Well, I want nice things, but I didn't always have the money for it. He said, I do. I was
Good.
like, well, now what you gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's how High Five Graphics started. I'll let Edward chime in.
Well, hi, everybody. So when I first met her and I saw that she was doing a lot of designs and she was designing things that she was giving to other vendors, I said, well, that doesn't make sense because you're doing it, creating these designs. Why not sell them yourself? I know the technical aspect because I'm a photographer, been a photographer over 30 years. And I do a lot of graphics work, so I know all the programming to do this. So why don't we come put our heads together? We start a business and we can go from there. That's what we did. We've been going ever since.
Now, the question arose about how do you maintain your business? We all were unexpectedly hit with the pandemic. And Ed and I, most of the stuff that you see that we do is unique. This is something that we came up with. It was uniquely done. So I'm not sure if you can really tell how it looks, but he takes his time to what do you call it? Digitize the designs, and people like what they see. Even when we're in the house, like this is loungewear. I'm not going anywhere. I can wear it to the store, or I can make it right and wear it to chapter meeting. So we try to create things that people would feel comfortable in day or night. And because we were stuck in the house, we started to make designs and offer materials that people could be comfortable in. Staying in contact with our customers and constant communication, checking on how they're doing, and caring more about individuals than we did about profit has kept us in business. Honestly, you guys, the stuff that we make, we don't make it so that we're making money hand over fist. Our passion is in the quality of the work that we put out. And if you get a good quality product, stick with it, then you'll know that even if somebody does duplicate your design, they will 9 times out of 10 not be able to duplicate the quality and efforts of the work that were put in. So we maintain by continuing to make things and create, just continuing to draw. I draw. I don't know how to draw a straight line with the ruler, but I draw stick figures, and I sit with him on digitizing so that I get what I want out of what I'm creating. And then I present it to source like, hey, you guys, what do you think of this? Some people will say, I really like that, because they like you. They don't really like it, right? And you'll know because of how the product is moving. But there are others who say, hey, change this, add that, remove this. And then you know that you have something, right? Here's another way. You know you have something because somebody has created something real similar that what you've created. And you maintain who you are and your business by staying true to your business design, your character, being honest and upfront when something doesn't go right. You know that we have all, or most of us, have been hit by telling people, you're going to get I need this order by, next week. And it's a small order, maybe just 15, 20 shirts, let's say. And you say, yes, I can get this to you by Friday. But then the pandemic hit and everything stopped. So if you don't already have that inventory on hand, you're hoping that it'll come because it does normally. But understand that the person who I got this shirt from, they're getting it from somebody else. They're not sewing it. That means they are under control of the manufacturer who sews the shirts. And they will tell me, you know what, I think we have this many on hand. And I've told you, yes, I can get them to you. And then they don't come.
I think what I would like to share as far as maintaining is the number one lesson I had to learn, and that's helped me quite a bit, is to realize not every customer, not every person is your customer. Because if you try to go out of your way to please everybody, you will not be happy in your business. So not everybody is my customer. People will, as Regina said, we go for quality. So people are looking to buy the best product at the cheapest price. I cannot produce sometimes the best product for a very cheap price. So not everyone is our customer. So you have to have the patience to understand that. Stick to your model of your business. Have the patience to go through growing. It will be slow. As she just said, we went through the pandemic. It was tough. But if you made it through that, you can make it through anything.
Another thing to consider is get things that people like. Put your ear to the ground. Always know what's going on, not just in the creamery, but in general. When people, we know that no matter what, Delta will always need pearls. Always. Now, we don't sell pearls. We don't sell pearls because the market is saturated with people buying pearls. So I buy my pearls from other stores, Aldine. But I buy my pearls from other vanity. There are certain people who create designs and trinkets and different things that will be a constant seller. So while people are helping us to maintain our business, we then pour back into the vending community by buying from other vendors and referring other vendors. That also speaks to the character of who we are, in that we know how to maintain, but we know how to help others maintain. And if people see that that's what you do, with no strings, I'm not asking you for anything. I know that this chapter needs pearls. They need 170 strands of pearls. I know that vanity does that. Or if I know a vendor that does that, then refer those people. And when they say, well, how did you come to find out about me? Gina from High Five Graphics, she's the store. Those are the things that keeps us going, because we are so true to helping everybody that we possibly can, that people then don't mind helping us.
I think one of the things also that prohibits people from succeeding is they spread themselves too thin. They try to produce too many products, too many different categories, instead of sticking with one or two, possibly three, that they're good at. When you spread yourself too thin, you start having problems, especially with designs, getting them done and getting them done on time.
And well, because you can have something done, and I've run into a problem where the person who was doing my embroidery, she went out of business. I worked with her for 30 years. And now it's been like almost 40 years that I had worked with her. And I don't do embroidery. I had no idea how it worked. What are you supposed to do? I just know this is what I want. This is how I want it. This is the size. I give her everything. But then when she went out of business, I now had to find somebody else. And when you find somebody that does what you want the way that you want, stick with them. Stick with them. If they change or they're not able to do it, then ask for a referral. Who do you suggest? I know the vendors that I believe does as good quality work as I feel like I do. I would say, if I can't do this, I know that Latasha can do it. Or, I know that there are vendors. And so I reach out and say, hey, I got a group that, needs this. We're not able to do it. Can you do it? Because if I refer you, then that still means our name is on the line. You referred me to this person and they were really good. Thank you very much. Now the vendor gets credit and is able to make some money. We get recognition and thanks, gratitude for the referral. And then the people will come back to us. You know what? Gina may not be able to do this, but she can probably find somebody. I have that all the time. However, I have also enlisted the assistance of someone else for our embroidery because we weren't able to do it. And so Simone, I reach out to people in the creamery. I see it and I go, can you please help me with this? And they take the time to listen to what it is I'm asking for and say, no, you can't do that like that because of this. We maintain by accepting the information that we've gotten from somebody who's an expert in the area. We don't always know what to do.
Right. And this business is hard. And if you're doing it by yourself, it's extremely hard. If you have people, a team, it's a little easier. But for her, she has a group of people that when she comes up with a design, she shares it with them to get their opinion. So if you have people that you can work with, talk to, That's great. Have a sounding board that can help you with designs, with software, a mentor, anything like that is extremely, extremely helpful, especially in those times because you'll get frustrated, you'll want to give up, but they'll keep you going.
And they will just be mindful that if you ask for the input, and what I say is my only criteria for asking you guys for input is that you don't blow smoke, because I may think something is fantastic, and who designs? You know how Erica Badu say I'm sensitive about my ish. Well, I am. So when we create this stuff, we said I'm writing all these stick figures, and I wake up in the middle of the night, like I'm sure some of you guys do, and draw something out. And I know I can see it clearly in my mind. Then I present it to him, and he's like, "What are you? What?" You know, like, you don't just say you want this and write this. I don't know what that means and what font and what. I'm like, I don't know. I just know I know when I see it, that's what I want. But I was saying that to say that there's not always, you're not going to always come up with the best ideas, right? And if when I submitted, I call them my high five graphics critics. You guys, they let me have it. This is hideous. I'm like, hideous? Could you have chosen a different word? Like, Gina, why would you do this and put this here and put this? It's too busy. Well, y'all see, I'm extra. Who sits in the house on a Saturday in pearls? I didn't just put this on for y'all. I had this on. So it, just I know that I'm extra, and I know because I do a lot, that I have to run things by people so that they can tell me, that's too much, Gina. Take this off, add this, or change that. And as long as they're honest with me, even if nobody else likes it, I got my critics to say, this is a go. Sometimes we post in the Creamery and different platforms, and we get information, or we say, Soars, what do you think about this design? Should we go with option A, B, C? And I chime in when people do that, because I know as vendors, we're looking for the next best thing, or the level of interest in something. That also helps keep you connected to the community and what we're producing, and it maintains your business. So, the adage that everybody likes most of the stuff that you do, that's not always true. They may like some stuff, but as vendors, you've created several designs, and the one that you say, I'm just going to do this, is the one, and you did it really quick and simple, and however intricate it is, this is not something that you particularly were thinking is going to be the big hit, and then you have 300, 400 orders for it. So stay true to who you are as a vendor, as a person. Try to be of good character with everything that you do. Contact people if you know that something's not going to be delivered when it's supposed to be delivered. Stay honest about your expectations from the customers, and then communicate. Always communicate. My husband will see a message and they say nothing. I'm like, babe, did you see the message from such here? Or did you see a message because somebody may inbox me and say, Thor, I sent you an email. You guys, I got 1, 2, 3 phones. If you look, I got 3 phones that I'm working on a regular basis. I got work phone, personal phone, and another phone that I just have because I have it. And if I'm not responsive right away, it's not because I have ignored you, but I have readily shared my phone number with people, so that, and in the Creamery on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, so that people can contact me. And if he has seen something, he goes, oh, I think I recall seeing something yesterday. I try to be responsive instantly if I can. Try to make sure that you stay in contact with your customers, because if you give them poor service, they're not coming back. They don't care how nice your stuff is.
I think the last thing I'd like to share, as far as us being able to sustain for 10 years, is grow slowly.
Oh,
Do not try to take over the world in your first year in business, because you will make mistakes. And when you make mistakes and you put those mistakes out there, as far as customer service or your designs, you will get that stigma. Customers will label you and they won't come back to you. So grow slowly, take your time. And then once you get the hang of what you're doing and what you do best, stick with it, and then add a little bit, add a little bit. But I see a lot of people going out of business because they move too fast. So grow slowly.
I see there's a question.
Yes, we do have a question. Darylyn?
Thank you both. This was great. I'm new to the business world, and like I said, I've been a crafter my whole life, so that's kind of what my business is based primarily on. And so I have a personal Facebook page, I have a business Facebook page, I've got people who have my cell number, I've got people who have my um, regular email, I have people who have my business email, I have my website, and I have people who contact me in all different ways at all different times. And I keep hearing myself say to my husband, I'm having a hard time keeping up with stuff because people are contacting me in so many different ways. But I feel like if I tell them, so what I've been doing more recently is if someone texts me and says, I need, a gift for, 10 people or whatever, I need shirts for this team or whatever, that I say, please email me at my business email. And that way I'm trying to get everything to go through that. But I just want to know if you all had any suggestions. I know, Gina, you mentioned the 3 different phones and keeping up, like, because I am, my husband helps me somewhat, but I'm doing this primarily on my own. How do you, or what would you recommend to stay organized?
Well, my suggestion is, and we still deal with this after 10 years, because people know her or knew her before we started business. They had one way of communicating with her, and that was text. And they still do that instead of going through the business.
Mm-hmm.
So they will send messages to her. She'll respond to her. She'll come to me later and say, well, what do you think about the design that they wanted to do? And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. What design? But if they went through the email, then I would be exposed to all communication. So you have to have, for the business, one area of communication where the whole team sees it, because then if it doesn't, she has to go back through her text to find, well, who was that who asked for this or who asked for that? It gets confusing. Social media is good, but it's bad, because you're right. People will contact you at all times of night. They expect you to get back to them in 30 minutes. They have that Amazon mentality where they put an order in and they want it tomorrow. We're not cut out for that. So my suggestion is there's only one form of communication business-wise, and it has to be whatever works best for you.
And my response to that is, because I have been doing this for so long, if somebody needed something, they would say, Gina, do you know where I can get, 50 shirts or jackets or warm-ups or whatever? And because I had been doing it for so long, I coached cheerleading. So I had an end for where you can get warm-ups from and all of that they would contact me by any mode that I made available. And we continue to maintain some of those contacts. Now what's happening is with social media, because I was doing this before Facebook came and Instagram, I still don't know how to use Twitter or all that stuff. I'm not familiar with that. So, Kiana, my suggestion would be, and I'm trying to get better at it, would be you have all of these modes. Always redirect them to the one area where both you and your husband can see, or where you can keep up with it. So, what I'm trying to tell people now, they're used to contacting me by text or now messenger or inbox. They'll say, well, I sent you a message, I inboxed you. And I'm like, oh shoot, which inbox? I'm not very tech savvy, but I stay on my phone communicating with people all times of the night and day, because I also understand that we're in different time zones. So somebody may be in Japan sending a message and it's 2 o'clock in the morning here, you know?
Or they'll call, the phone will ring at 5 in the morning.
He's like, he don't answer his phone all the time, but I'm like, you gotta answer the phone. It could be a customer. They may be asking, or but not you. Some of you guys, we don't realize. I don't know where everybody is, and I don't know where vendors are sometimes when I need, answers to questions or help with something. So, Kiana, my suggestion would be to find one mode that you can check all of the resources or the sources that you have for incoming information, but redirect them to one place where you can go to find the information that they've submitted. So that's what I try to do is I give you guys my phone number and everything, email address, but I always say, Sora, can you please email me? The challenge with that is they want it now and they already gave you all the information. So then they email and say, this is the email about the shirts I wanted. He still doesn't know what that means. And then because I love all my stores, but I don't remember what you ordered. I'm older now and I just don't remember everything. I remember the communication, but I don't remember where it came from. I don't remember specifically what you asked for. So now I have to scroll through 3 phones trying to figure out what it was that I got, who it was that said it or whatever. So if you will, ask them for the details. Everything you just said, can you please send it in an email? And then start to establish a precedence where everything that someone is communicating with you about is communicated through one channel. We're still working on it, but know that that's the easiest way to go back and see what someone has asked for. It's the easiest way for us to communicate what is needed from both of us, or at least we both have seen the message come through or can go back and find it and say, oh, you asked for this on this date, we found it, or, we're not able to get this, or we can, you can communicate that way and everybody knows what's going on. And that way you can pull your husband into knowing what's happening, and it doesn't have to be a one person thing. Another thing, and I know I keep talking, but another thing is establish who's going to be doing what. He shouldn't be doing all the designs because that's what I do. So when he makes something, I'd be like, let me see. I'm looking at everything scrutinizing it, like, okay, I like that. Or
because us guys have a different outlook. We want to see as opposed to the women.
Absolutely.
Y'all, he be making stuff. I said, we're not putting that on no bra. We don't wear bras with we're not wearing that, and I be all irritated about it. But decide to who's going to be doing what. So Kiana, if you can give him something to do, because we have to give our husbands tasks. Babe, I need you to do this. I let him do all of the digitizing. Now I sit with him sometimes because I want to make sure what he's digitizing is what I really want. And I also want him to be confident that we are equally in this business. You don't do it right, they're not going to want it. I don't communicate with you exactly what has been asked for, it's not going to happen. So
I think also in your communication, what you were just saying, one of our obstacles that we've had, we're still trying to correct it. She has 4,000 plus followers on social media.
More.
On her personal pages. And because of that, she will post things on her personal page. But and people see that they're communicating through her personal page. So we're trying to do better on posting on our business page. People will then communicate with us on our business page. So if you're communicating on your personal page, if you can, get it over to your business page, that will help.
I said, I'm not tech savvy. I'm also not social media correct. My daughter has a business and she looks at our stuff and she goes, Mom, that's really nice. Why did you post a picture looking like that? You should have your makeup done. And y'all see, I keep messing with this eyelash. I have on a shirt and I have on my pearls. I put on some lipstick. I think I'm fine. I think when, babe, take a picture of me. I'm standing against the door or something and I'm posed where I think I'm cute. And I post it on my page, or I take a selfie or something because I have on something new and I want to see what the responses are for it. So I posted on my personal page because he went through and removed so many pictures from our business page because they weren't professional. It's easier for me to post a quick picture on my personal page than it is for me to get all dolled up to post on our business page where it is acceptable. So again, make sure that you have detailed expectations of anybody that is helping you with your business. And some people are better at things than others. I'm good at designing stuff. All that technical and that's not what I do. So if you can, Kiana, that's another thing. Maybe see about looking into an intern that would be willing to get you organized, check your messages, upload your content. You give them content. So I may give her a picture or 10 pictures, and she's going to choose one of those pictures to post on Facebook or Instagram. Unfortunately, I don't have that person. Those people that I would use, they're posting on their own. And they don't have time, or they want you to pay them a real salary. I have no real salary money. So I can give you some merchandise, but that's about the best that at this time I'm able to do. So that's another way of keeping things organized.
Was that Kiana you were talking to, or Daryl? Because Kiana's hand is
Yeah.
still up.
It was Kiana.
That was Kiana? Okay, Kiana, did you?
Oh, no, ma'am. I think it was someone else. I haven't asked my question yet.
Okay, go ahead. I know. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
okay.
quite
And
all
then
right.
We have Kimberly offered after that, and then we're gonna move on. So Kiana, and then that was Daryl, and I think
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Oh, no problem. I'm
Kiana?
taking notes. I was going to say, I really like what you said a few minutes ago about going too fast and people going out of business. Could you just give me an example of going too fast in business?
Well, I would say when we started out with rhinestones. We were doing all kinds of rhinestones, everything glitter we did, right? There's machines and all the stuff. We got all the stuff. I'm not a crafter. I realized that with the rhinestone stuff. But we started with that. Then we moved from that to vinyl, learning the different vinyls, going to classes and all of that. What I saw is somebody else that was starting, like, Gina, how do I go about beginning a business? So I'm going to help everybody that asks. She started off with the shirts, then the shorts, then the shoes, and everything came in a matter of weeks. She was out of business in less than a year. And it was because she was trying to do too much too soon. She could not produce the merchandise, the orders that were being requested, everything that you could ask for. If she saw somebody else doing it, she did it. Pens and pen lights, and the pen lights aren't working, and the beads are changing colors. It's getting on my, the people's clothes, and people complaining about stuff, and her having to refund and not having the staff available to help. She was growing to the fast and not able to contain the business and produce the quality merchandise that people were expecting.
Some
Thank you.
people get
Excellent.
excited. Some people get excited about wanting to hurry and get their products out there without
Mhm.
taking care of business first. There's a lot of us who will not get the paperwork straight before getting the business going. So you got to get
Mhm.
those licenses and all that stuff with the government. You got to get that taken care of first. Move slowly,
Oh yeah.
be in a hurry. And then if I had to start all over again, knowing what I know now, I would design something. Say I designed a jacket. And if that jacket was selling, now I'm going to design something else that will go with that jacket instead of designing another jacket. So now I'm putting an outfit together. Now I'll design a shirt to go with that jacket. Maybe I'll design a hat to go with that jacket, pants to go with that jacket. Something where it's connecting. I can sell a whole outfit as opposed to selling one item. So if you grow slowly and see, instead of trying to do it like she just said, a jacket, a tumbler, a mug, a hat, an umbrella, whatever the case may be, take your time and see what's working for you. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of us out in our community, especially, but we're not by ourselves, who will not have that paperwork together first and then which they did because you'll run into problems later. So grow slowly, take care of your stuff.
Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Oh, I like it here.
We have Kimberly Offord.
Hey, it was more so a comment as opposed to a question. I think that what was provided is excellent, excellent insight. I'm not a vendor, but presented a little bit earlier. But I just wanted to share with everyone, those of you, even if you're not tech savvy or, or what have you, if you have personal and professional Facebook pages or Instagram accounts where people are reaching out to you in all these different ways and however they can get to you. I agree with keeping everything very central, but I want to encourage everyone to turn your personal Facebook pages into creator accounts. That's the first thing. That opens up the door for you to now have access to the professional features that are associated with the professional page. There are ways that you can tie all of that together with free stuff that Facebook gives you, where you can start getting your messages all in one spot. And then you don't have to worry about, because I get it all the time too. People, trying to message me from my creator account page as well as my professional page, but they all come in one spot in terms of my messages. In terms of, phone calls, this is just around with that organization conversation. There is a AI app called productive.ai, and I would encourage everyone to get that app. It's brand new. And it's in my download that I provided to everyone during my presentation. And what Productive AI will do is it's an app that's on your phone, and you can turn it off, on and off whenever you want. You get that client, that customer who calls you and say, I need 17 t-shirts by such and such, such and such. And here's the date that I need them by, and this is what I need. That AI transcribes that conversation and sends that information back to you. It will even put on your calendar the date that you discussed automatically. You don't have to have it to do anything else. It is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It will put on your calendar what you agreed to, when you agreed to do it. And it will remind you if you need to, and you can tie it into your CRM to train it to put into your CRM. You need to order this many shirts by this day because so-and-so, Julie wants these shirts or whatever. So there are things out there that you can get that'll help you become more productive, because I too, even though I sell real estate, I do marketing, I do all kinds of stuff. People will call you all hours of the night and all day if they think they can get in contact with you. And it can be a challenge to get everybody, to corral everybody up into one space. But there are some things out there that will help you to do that and to get organized. And please change your Facebook personal pages to creator accounts for a couple of reasons. Facebook does not like when you try to sell from your personal page. They will shut you down.
Quickly.
Yes. But when you switch it over to that creator account, you now can have those conversations in that space. You can post in that space. You can do a lot of different things. You don't have to limit how many people, how many followers you have. The world just opens up. And so I just wanted to throw that in there. And great conversation.
Thank you. If it's okay, can you tell me what CRM is?
Your customer relationship management system, your database, basically.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I will put, if it's okay, Angelica, I'll put my link back in the chat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We had talked about, I did a little quiz earlier. What's CRM? What's KPI? And Leslie John Baptiste talked about it, as well as Eric Lee Usher. Yes. And also Mocha Main, I know we have two more questions. Mocha Main, and for some reason, she said something really great. Let me see, I'm trying to get to it. She was talking about the U.S. Small Business Administration. They have a lot of free courses on how to start and operate a business, building a well financial business. So look at the resources that the U.S. Small Business Administration has as well. Kiana, you had one more thing to say? Kiana? Okay, Mona Dixon?
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, Kiana, okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, well, Mona's there now. Go ahead, Mona, then we're going to come back to Kiana.
Hi,
Oh,
Source and everyone else. It's real quick. I was just gonna say, along the lines of what Sorgina was saying, about not moving too quickly. I think you kind of start out with a product area, like I'm with Inspired by Mona, and mostly stationary products. But I started out with just greeting cards, and I think from there, when individuals like your designs or your products, they'll start to tell you what they want to see your designs on or what they're looking for. Like that, the majority of my products have come from recommendations from other sources who said, "Ooh, can you make certificates? Ooh, can you make this design? Ooh, I would like to see this on a card." And that's what you put out, because then you're giving them exactly what they want, and then you're not worried about creating things that they don't want already. And then also in regards to like people copying or things like that, just really quickly, like if your stuff is good, people are going to want to replicate it. They're going to want to have something of that sort. It's going to happen. And it's just important for you to just stay ahead of the game and then ask, again, your customer base. That's why it's important to have that in emails and everything like that. Ask them what they want, what they're looking for, and you just have to stay ahead of the game, because unfortunately it's gonna be that way, and it's not gonna stop. Like they're gonna see it, they see you making money, they're gonna want to duplicate it. But that's just my 2 cents on those two topics.
perfect. And you're right. Very correct.
Thank you, Mona.
insightful.
Angelica, can I say one last thing I forgot to mention when?
Yeah, you got one more last question too, but go ahead.
I failed to mention that, which I meant to say about growing too fast part. Don't be afraid to outsource, because if you get orders that are large, that's too big for you to do, you'll have less stress. Outsource it. Don't go and try to buy all the equipment, all the software, all that type of stuff in the beginning. Outsource, because you have professionals who will do the work, and it may look better than what you can do right now. So that's part of growing slowly. Don't be afraid to outsource.
Now, as a vendor coordinator and suggesting outsourcing, you are expected, for those people who are recreating or reproducing the merchandise that you've given them, you must create a non-disclosure agreement. Now, some of the people may not honor your non-disclosure agreement because, you know, they're in different countries. We try not to deal with China and Italy. We try not to. So if you can find someone in the States or even out of the States that can agree to your non-disclosure agreement, you have done your part. You have to have a beginning time on your contract or your non-disclosure agreement, and you have to have an end time. Even if you are planning to work with these people, just a moment, you guys. Even if you're going to work with these people on a regular basis, so the manufacturer that we work with, we're going to continue working with them. They've created what we need. We're going to continue our work with them. But Delta says you have to have a start date and an end date. Once that date is nearing its end, you can extend it. And if there are new items that are added or new things that need to be included in this contract, then you must create it. That way you've covered yourself as a vendor in getting your merchandise done or outsourced.
And there's a lot of vendors within Delta who do large orders who you can outsource to. So don't be afraid to use a vendor who is a Delta vendor. They will wholesale work to you as well. I would rather give my business to a Delta vendor than to someone down the street who I don't know. So it would be nice to have that type of communication between vendors, of those vendors who do wholesale work, to communicate with vendors who are looking to outsource.
And a prime example of that is yard signs. We didn't do yard signs, but we had a chapter that needed yard signs. We didn't have them. We talked about creating them, like I designed some, but we didn't have the time to get them done in the time that we needed for the vote. And, you know, so I said, there's a vendor in the creamery. I reached out to her. I asked her if she could do the yard signs for us. She did them. So it wasn't our design. We weren't saying it's ours or anything, but we outsourced for them. Didn't make anything for it, but our chapter used it as a fundraiser and sold them, you know, to the chapter, but it was outsourced. We weren't able to do it. So
That's a
yes.
great idea. And that outsourcing, and that's also talking about partnerships and networking. That's how the first wave of the internet, it was partnerships. And yes, now we're in the third wave. That came with partnerships and networking. And one thing I want to take, and I don't think Steve Case was the one who made the quote, but he used the quote in the book that I just read. He says, if you want to go big and fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go together. And so with partnerships and networking, we can meet and reach a lot of our goals when it comes to certain expertise and skill sets that we don't possess, but we go to a fellow colleague or a fellow vendor or a fellow service provider for those services in order to encompass everything in order to have a happy customer. So that networking, I'm glad that you two brought that up. I remember, Regina, way before the creamery was ever a thought in anybody's head, especially mine. And it was late one night, and I think you were up that night trying to design a pair of pants or some fitness pants. I don't know what it was. And at that time, I think you were just about to pay for licensing. If I'm not mistaken, it was a long, long time ago. And so to see where you are today from that night at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning and is just great. It's excellent. I love it. And for those of you who don't know about Ed and Regina or Gina LaJander, actually, we have their love story in the holiday lookbook from 2022. So if you go back to the holiday lookbook from naliaZONE, you will see an article about those two. Great couple, beautiful couple. And we do have a question or statement from Mocha May.
Okay. And thank you, Angelica.
You're welcome.
Hi, I would just like to add on what I mentioned before. A great thing that she said about networking. I do work for the government in a capacity, and networking is very key. Um, Even though I work for the government, I have received myself some grants, and look at every opportunity that you actually have to learn. I decided this morning to get on this call and see what it was about, and you could learn something from any type of group. So there's courses that you could take that would tell you everything. And the small business, when people say something to you, you can find a lot of things on the website. If you don't understand your business, how to do your business, how to start up, how to do anything. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knows about what the government actually have. I'm not just plugging it because I work there. I'm plugging it because that's how I started my business, because I saw a lot of different people struggling, and I said, you know what, let me try this myself. And that's what I did. So there's a lot of things out there that are free for you to learn from.
Perfect. That's right. And I'll put up some resources that I do that I'm aware of, especially when it comes to the government. You would not believe the opportunities and the resources and tools that are offered just for your business, even though you are a licensed vendor, because you're still a business, retail and commerce. How to maintain, how to go, how to network and things to use to grow and build out your business. So I will also put links in that special group. Any last words from High Five Graphics, Regina and Ed?
My last word is, again, as I already stated, take your time. University, what do you call it? University of YouTube will have you thinking you need this, and this. You need all this. They want you to, you'll see some people have every piece of equipment that's made. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And my last word is, if you have questions about something, inbox. Or even if you ask the question in, sometimes it's not always the right platform, but Angelica or one of the moderators will let you know that's not a question you ask here. We're supposed to be selling things, but we have the vendors and sellers group where people ask questions, we pose scenarios. So ask, because I clearly don't know everything, but the things that I do know and that Ed knows, most of the vendors are willing to share. Now, if you ask something like, can you send me your vector file? I've seen that and I'm like, now, if somebody took the time to create something and hours, it is not unreasonable for you to ask, but it is very understanding if somebody says absolutely not. Because it takes time, and so certain things you ask you may not get, but the only dumb question is a question that is not asked. And if you Google something, type something in, I guarantee you something is going to come up. That is another way we started. We did all things YouTube. Coreless, it was some guy that it would be up with the headset on, nodding back and forth, listening all night long to this man tell us how to do certain things, the materials that work with things. And, it was trial and error. But like Angelica said, she would find me up. I was one of the first people that joined the creamery. I think it was her and Keisha Allen that began this group. And they would reach out and say, what do you think of this? And hey, we have Angelica mostly, I got an idea. What do you think about this? But to maintain relationships, if I can summarize, be true to who you are. Yeah. Ask questions about things that you don't know about, things that you're not subject matter expert on. Somebody is. We are Soras and Greek D9 people for a reason. Ask questions. People will help you. And then try to stay connected to the community, and the items that you provide or you produce, the crafts that you make all of the information that you're able to gather and share, stay with it. And you'll look up 10 years later, 20 years later, for some people like Simone Hand and Simone Morrow, they can tell you the reasons and some of the things that I've communicated with you, I got from them.
Yeah.
Stay true to who you are and keep doing what you do, what you're doing, or strive to always continue to get better and get information from those who you see or have been consistently in business, and you'll be fine.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand for a great presentation on how I made it and maintained, and talking to us about your journey from where you are. Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you
And
guys for having us.
wonderful presentation.